My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney, with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So whether you're a parks professional or a Florida first-timer, this is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans to share memories of their magical times, answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting you all the latest news from the parks, and finding out what's happening right now in Orlando. So get your ears on as we take you to the most magical place on earth. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network with brand new episodes every other week. Fortnightly on a Friday, you can find us. So make sure you've hit that subscribe button. There's plenty of podcasts to listen back to if you want. So excited for you to hear this episode because my guest for this episode, she has been a guiding light in Disney planning, especially when it comes to food, over the last, many years now. AJ from Disney Food Blog joins me on this episode in just a couple of minutes' time with some incredible dining tips, and also we'll find out all about her new book. We'll chat to AJ soon. All the details about her book, by the way, I will put on our socials, so make sure you're following wherever you are, be it TikTok or Instagram or X or Facebook, at PodMagical is where you can find me. If you would like to be a podcast guest, going to Disney soon, or you just come back, let's get you on. Or maybe you've got a question because you're going soon. Vicky wants to know, do you still get free magic bands? Not been for a few years, and we will be going in September. Vicky, no. You don't get free magic bands anymore, I'm afraid. Vicky also asks if you can still use your old ones. Well, the best thing to do, if you go onto your My Disney experience, if you go into your website, if you log in, you should be able to see whether they are still active. You should be able to see your old magic bands in there, and it will tell you whether they're active or not. So you might be in luck. Take it with you anyway. There's no harm asking. If it doesn't work, you can always buy a new one. Mickey would love that one. You can use your phone. That gets you in your room in the parks. You can use your phone like a magic band, or if you've got an Apple Watch, you can use that. Or they'll give you a card. Your usual room card, they can give you that. They're quite cute to collect as well, actually. That will get you in your room and in the parks and to use lightning lanes. So they're not going to leave you stranded, but you don't get free magic bands anymore, I'm afraid. If you have a question, at PodMagical is where we are. And without further ado, let's gab to AJ. She is not just the voice of Disney Food Blog. Not just that, she's the voice of Disney food, period. She has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube and almost 500 million video views. Fabulous nails, lover of plastic cheese, and in a matter of days, a new book out for us Disney adults. It's AJ Wolfe from the DFB.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Just to prove that it is you, could you please say plastic cheese?
Plastic cheese. Hey, everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog.
But you must be the busiest woman in the world right now. Because
I'm both of them. I'm both
busy and busy,
I'm both
yeah.
the busiest and the busiest.
Disney, dizzy, busy lady. When was your first footsteps into a Disney park?
I believe the first footsteps that I have pictures of is 1985. I was 7 years old, and we were there for just a rope drop to fireworks day because we were on a beach vacation in Florida.
And what do you actually remember about that day? The magic.
I remember standing in a 3-hour line outside because there was no indoor queue for Journey into Imagination in EPCOT. Interestingly, I do not remember Magic Kingdom at all. All I remember is 1980s Epcot. And Kitchen Kabaret was my favorite thing ever. My parents let me buy the plush tomato from the mariachi band, and that was like my favorite toy for years and years. And Epcot I am an Epcot girl through and through.
Even back then, Kitchen Kabaret. So it was food from the very start.
I guess it was. Yes.
It was always a sign. It was there, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, I never put those two together.
Earliest memories, toy food. And now it's real food.
Yep, exactly.
So when did the blog start? Because about 10 years now?
15. It started in
Wow.
2009. March of 2009 is when we launched Disney Food Blog. And we had a couple of other websites before that, and we've picked up a couple on the way. But that is my baby.
How did it start? Because I remember seeing in the UK newspapers, this woman has eaten at every restaurant in Disney World. That was our introduction to this crazy American woman.
I know, this lunatic. It started, honestly, because I wanted it to exist, and it didn't exist. Nobody was deep diving into food at Disney World. At the time, Disney did not publish their menus online. They didn't put any pictures of their food. All they had, because of course social media wasn't around, right? So all they had was the names of the restaurants. And at that time, you had to book them 6 months in advance. How in the world are you supposed to know where you should go? I had no idea. I'm like, this is silly. I'm going to spend more money on my food than I am on my hotel or my tickets. And yet you're not giving me any information about it. So that's why I started, is because I wanted to see it. I wanted to read this blog. And so thought, well, let's at least give people something.
How long did it take you then to visit every single, as many food establishments as you can in Disney World to start a blog? Because you can't just go, here's a blog, I've been to one. You've got to really go for it.
Well, luckily, when we started, again, nobody was doing it. So anything was better than nothing. At that point, I hadn't been to all of them. And so we started writing, or I started writing about the ones I had been to and the other food things that I found in Disney World when I went on my trips, because I don't live in Orlando. So when I went on my trips, I would write about everywhere I ate, and I would try to get to 5 or 6 restaurants in a day when I was on those trips. Probably over 2 or 3 years, because I eventually got fired from my job. And so my husband was like, this is great. Now you can do Disney Food Blog full time. And so I really started probably 2 or 3 years to get, maybe 2 years to get to every single restaurant in Disney World. And of course, now they change them all the time. So I got to keep them back.
You got to keep on top of it. But you have a great team with you now.
I do. Oh, thank God.
How many are in the team?
We have about 50 people on the payroll right now, covering Disney World, Disneyland, doing writing blog posts, doing video production, doing social media, doing accounting, all of the behind the scenes admin, accounting, all of that stuff. We've got folks on the team to do all of that too. So we're covering it all.
And I guess you need them right now because, as we say, the book is out in a few days. And it's about being a Disney adult. And I guess the heart of being a Disney adult, for me, going to Disney, people say, why do you keep going back? You're just eating at the same places. I go, yes, I am eating at the same places. But then there's new places that I want to eat. So that's a journey of discovery. I'm guessing, is food at the heart of being a Disney adult? Tell me more about the book.
I don't think food is at the heart of being a Disney adult for everybody. No? Something about Disney adults is that there are little niche spin-offs of Disney adults. I am a parks Disney adult. I love the theme parks. That's my thing. There are people who love the merchandise, and that's what they know everything about and are super into. There are people who love the films, and they are just big into Disney movies or music. And so I guess you have your specialty, the thing the best. And so for me, it's parks and food. For some people, it's parks and rides, et cetera. So it really depends on who you are. And that's something that I think is important to state, is that the Disney adult community is much, much bigger than anybody thinks it is. Because there's a lot of Disney adults that don't claim to be Disney adults, and there's a lot of Disney adults that you can't see on the outside that they are. So it's a really, really big community, and we all love different aspects of the company.
This feels like this book is every Disney fan must have this as a standby to go to, because you've been to work, and somebody, as I said before, you're going to Disney again. You're a grown man with no kids. Why? And I need to go, give me AJ's book.
Here you go.
Is that who this book is for?
This book is, and this was so funny because when we were pitching this book, it was like, well, who's the audience? And the audience is Disney adults who want to know why they are this way. Right? Because we go into the psychology of this. We go into how Imagineers grab hold of us this way, that we want to ride these rides over and over again, that we want to go to these restaurants over and over again. And it's also for people who kind of look at Disney adults like a train wreck that they can't look away from. And they're like, what is going on? Why do you people exist? And what are you even doing? So it's for that group too, that just wants to be like, what?
Yeah.
So it's for these two opposite extremes, really. And everybody in between who's just like, that's interesting. I'll read about them, So it's for everybody. There's something in here for everyone.
Yeah, it is the biggest entertainment company in the world.
Yeah.
So really, there's a lot in this book.
They own everything. Disney owns everything. Yeah. So frankly, if you like Star Wars, if you like American Horror Story, you're a Disney adult.
So what kind of chapters are in this? Who is this book for?
Yeah. So I start out this book sort of talking about how we got this way. Why are Disney adults? Why do we exist? Why do we love Disney so much? What is it psychologically that's manipulating us into being part of this cult, right? And then it moves on into talking about actual Disney adults. So you've got a chapter with several stories about different types of Disney adults and different people reading their real stories, because I think one of the best ways to get rid of prejudices is to really meet people that you thought you were supposed to hate and then learn more about them and get to know them. So I thought that was an interesting thing to throw in there. Then we really go into why people hate Disney adults so much. What is the reasoning, even if they can't state why they hate Disney adults? Because there are a lot of prejudices and there are a lot of subconscious reasons why people dislike this particular subculture. Then we move into Disney adults as a part of as affecting and affected by the Walt Disney Company, which to me is one of the most interesting parts of the book, because you figure since social media became a thing, this subculture is so huge and has so much power in terms of a voice online that Disney can't really ignore it. And so I go into a couple of case studies about, times that Disney adults have actually affected what Disney has chosen to do. So that to me projects a very interesting future where this particular group is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and get louder and louder and louder online. And so how is Disney going to handle that? How do they handle, when they like to control everything, how are they going to handle this group that's so that has such a significant voice online? There's a lot in there that I think people don't expect.
Because it's strange that Disney is a company where it's got the fans who know everything about it. They know the history of the company. I mean, how many fans of companies know the CEO and how long they've been there and who could be the next CEO? It's
exactly. How many fans of companies are really listening to the earnings calls and the investor calls for this? I shop at Target, but I sure don't care about their earnings calls. And so you've got this incredibly invested group. And honestly, one of the last pieces in the book is me just saying, what more could you want, Disney? When you've got this group that loves your product so much that they are just in pain about it a lot of the time. There's so much opportunity for the company to get information from this particular group.
It's interesting when you're growing up and you're trying to find who you are as a young adult and then an adult. People always say, find your tribe.
Yes.
This is the Bible for the tribe. Put it in every hotel drawer.
This is the tribe.
Who did you speak to for the book?
I talked to a lot of psychologists because I always want to understand. I always want to figure out what is it about this particular media conglomerate that makes us want to stand in line for 6 hours to buy a popcorn bucket, that makes us want to wait in a online waiting room for 11 hours to give Disney more money to go to a specific event or a park opening or something like that. How do they grab hold of us that way? Because if an alien race came down and looked at us, they'd be like, what? You're doing what? Why? And so I really talked to some psychologists about what is it about this that we love so much that we need to keep doing it, right? Talked to, like I said, a lot of Disney adults who are from all different, races and walks of life and their stories. Talked to some Disney adults who were legit addicted and had to pull back, had to figure out how to change their life because it was causing a negative impact on them. And also, again, talked to Imagineers, talked to people who have worked for Disney to figure out how they view this particular group of Disney, Disney adults and Disney fans in general. how do we affect what Disney does? So I talked to a lot of different folks about this. It was so fun. It was so interesting to do.
Yeah. But it sounds like you went to like maybe a few little dark places.
Oh, so many dark places, Andy. And, a thread that goes through this book, of course, is my personal story, which, I went into $17,000 worth of debt to go to Disney World, multiple times through a period in my life that I was not happy. And this was absolutely medicative. It was an escape for me. And it was something that it was not a smart idea to spend this much money to go to this theme park. But honestly, I felt like I was in a really dark place, and it's all that made me happy. And so if you get to the point that it's starting to cause negativity in the rest of your life, you have to look at that. So yes, there are definitely dark places of people who are spending way too much, people who are realizing that they are neglecting important parts of their lives, job, family, etc., because of their addiction to this place that makes them happy. So we have to go into that as well.
Happiness comes at a price. A lot of people say.
Sometimes, yeah.
I always ask on this podcast why people love Walt Disney World and why they keep going back. For you, what is it that makes you? What's the addiction of Disney World that pulls you back in?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it changes throughout your life. That's another thing that's interesting about these, long-term Disney fans, because when I first started going, when I was in grad school, again, it was, I just need a break. I'm really busy and this thing is fun and thrill rides and things like that, right? That back then I was going to all 4 parks in one day kind of thing. And then as I got married and was going with my husband, and that was a completely different reason. We would go for the restaurants, we would go for the relaxation, the pool days, right? Then when I had my son, totally different experience, right? And I spent most of my time just riding the buses, because that's all he wanted to do, was ride the buses around Disney World. He was
Don't
super
bother
into
with a ticket then.
buses and trains. And so, you just have these different experiences. And the thing that I think it will always go back to is who you're sharing Disney with at the time. Or are you going as a solo traveler? So everyone that I interviewed had a commonality in their Disney story, which was family or some experience that they were nostalgic about doing with a particular person in their life. And so I think that changes as you get older and you share Disney with different people, or you start going solo and you start having entirely new experiences. So it definitely changes. I go back to Disney now that I've been doing this for 15 years as a career. I go back to Disney to experience brand new things that I've never done before, so that I can talk to my audience about those things and help them understand what that's like and whether they should go or not. But I also go because I want to go back to my favorites. I want to go back and ride Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion and People Mover, and just sit there and enjoy that, and not feel rushed or not feel like I have to experience everything, but just enjoy that time.
Is it easy for you now to go to the parks and go, I'm going to leave my work hat at home and I'm just going to go with my family, we're going to have a great day, I'm not going to think about anything? Even when you go grab a new snack, to go, right, I'm just going to have this, I'm going to enjoy this for myself, I'm not thinking about work. Is it easy to switch that side off?
No. And I think that's probably one of my superpowers in this career, is that I can't go anywhere and switch that off. I can't go to New York City and not think about what I would tell people about this and how I would help them, navigate this particular part of New York City without mistakes. That's just kind of how my brain works. I go to London, I go to Dublin, and I'm like, oh, I've got to tell people about this pub, or I've got to tell people about this particular, out of the way, whatever. I just, it's just my how my brain works. And so I actually don't want to turn it off, because it's fun and interesting to me. I'm sort of an investigator in that way. So I always like to do that. And it's fun. When my kid was, 4 years old, he was already trying to give me blog post titles. And some people may think, well, that's, isn't that a little bit weird? And it's like, no, he's thinking, he's considering what other people are going to be interested in. And I think that's great. So I've always loved to do that kind of thing. Sometimes it is very hot in Disney World and very exhausting. And sometimes I don't want to take another picture of a pretzel. And so when that's the situation, and if my team gives me permission to not cover the pretzel, maybe I won't. But when it comes to figuring out ways that I can help people, that's just where my brain is always going. So I love doing that stuff.
That is a trait of a Disney adult, because if you speak to somebody who's going for the first time, you just want to tell them everything. It's there. As a Disney adult. I think it's within all of us. You don't want them to go and have a miserable time and queue 4 hours for a ride and have horrible food. You go, no, because you're doing it wrong.
Right. Don't waste your money. It's not because you want people to like it as much as you do. And so you're just sort of like, no, please don't go to Sunset Ranch Market. It's not a good idea.
Do you have a particular standout favorite memory? 40 years you've been going now to the park?
Oh yeah, yep.
What's the big one? What's the big one?
I will always be in awe of Spaceship Earth, of that geodesic sphere in Epcot. It doesn't matter. Some people say, oh, I cry when I see the castle, and like, I don't care that much about the castle. But because I shared that love of Epcot with my dad for so long, and I lost my dad 4 years ago. And for me, just seeing Spaceship Earth for the first time on every trip will always I will always take a little gasp, because that park means so much to me and means so much to my relationship with my dad. And so that's it for me. But I really do think that everybody is going to relate back to a particular memory or an experience with their family, or a loved one, or even by themselves, where they really worked through something or experienced something new for the first time, and that will be what's special to them.
Yeah. Isn't it funny you should say Epcot when your dad died? Because my dad died 10 years ago, and we used to go as a family, and Epcot was his favourite park. And he always used to love going to the UK Pavilion, obviously, and watching the band, because he's from Liverpool. He used to watch the Beatles in the 60s. So going there, and he used to sit there with his pint and watching that. And then the first time I went back after he died, we went to Disney World, and it was fine. It was great. In a couple of days, it went to Epcot, and I sat, and then the band came on, and that was it. I just, because you imagine them there. I think if there's a heaven, hopefully there is a heaven, it will be your favourite place, and it will be the UK Pavilion at Epcot. And that's where he was, and that's where I was, and we had that connection right there. That memory will be there forever, every time I go back. Although I won't be as emotional.
Yep.
Next time. Let's talk about some of your favorite things then. Have you got a particular favorite resort?
Yeah, my favorite resort is always what's going to get me places fastest, and what I can get cheapest. Honestly, I love all the Disney resorts for different reasons, but I will usually end up someplace like Beach Club or Swan and Dolphin or Boardwalk or Yacht Club, because I can get lots of places real fast.
Especially when there's a festival on at Epcot. Get that boardwalk reservation.
Room 1501 is the room that is closest to Epcot.
Oh, is that the one at Beach Club?
That's
where you
the
get
one
out
at
the
Beach
side
Club
door.
right at the end.
Straight in, straight out. Particular favourite attraction?
People Mover and Spaceship Earth are my favorites.
This is a tricky one. We will get more into food in just a moment. But if you had to choose one restaurant, you're not reviewing it, you're just going for food with the family for a chill time, what's your go-to?
This changes all the time depending on what I'm into, but currently I am super into Le Cellier and the Canada Pavilion. I love a good ribeye and I love a good poutine. And so that's when I'm even all by myself, I'll book a table at Le Cellier.
I've got more food questions. Let's see if we can quick fire through these. Okay. One word answer or one sentence answer if you like.
All right.
What is the best value for money restaurant?
Steakhouse 71.
Best cookie?
Carrot cake cookie.
That was the one that used to be at the, what was it called? The bookshop in...
it was at the Writers. It was originally at the Writers Stop. And I love you even more now for knowing that.
It's changed though. It's definitely changed since they moved it to Starbucks, I think. Where are we finding the best burger?
Steakhouse 71 and Wailulu Bar and Grill.
Best use of a dining plan credit?
Gosh, if you have one credit, go to a character restaurant, go to character meal, because those are going to be the most expensive places to eat. So I think there are several character meals now that are still one credit that you can do for breakfast.
If you had to choose one?
Oh, I have to remember which ones are one credit, but probably Garden Grill or Topolino's Terrace.
Love Garden Grill. Worst use of a dining credit.
Buying things that you can get at home, like a bottle of water or Lay's chips with a snack credit is just stupid.
And we all know if we watch DFB, we get free water. Oh,
get free water.
Free water. Most underrated restaurant.
I will say, because it's just coming to my brain right now, Skipper Canteen. I think people don't realize how much fun it is in there with all the Imagineering, but a lot of people don't go because the menu is a little bit too exotic for some folks.
Most overrated restaurant.
Right now, Ohana is on its way down. Sadly, we can't overlook it because it's heading down. I hope it gets better.
Is it since they changed the banana pudding and they took actual bananas out of the actual pudding and put flavoring of banana?
There are so many ways that they're cutting corners right now there, and so it's starting to be too much.
Go to Sebastian's. That's a better alternative, I would think. Best part for food.
Best park for food right now is honestly Disney Springs, which I know isn't a park. Animal Kingdom has a lot of very interesting food that I think people are overlooking.
Best Epcot pavilion.
Well, I have to say UK. Right?
No, because the fish and chips are. You've been to London, you've been to the UK. You know what real fish and chips are like. They're not like the ones we get at Yorkshire.
But you gotta take what you can get sometimes.
I suppose, yeah. I suppose if we come from the UK, the last thing we want to do is eat more fish and chips.
Well, I think it's silly, but a lot of people do. A lot of people eat. They want to see if it's the same, you know. No, but I would honestly probably say UK Pavilion because I am an Anglophile. I love the UK.
Oh, we love you too. What's your favorite resort for food?
Animal Kingdom Lodge and Polynesian are two really good resorts for food. Yeah.
And finally, what is the worst thing you have ever eaten at Walt Disney World?
Anything where they try to replace meat with jackfruit. I'm like, it just doesn't work, you guys.
They're getting better with the vegan options. We had a vegan on the last episode, and they are getting better.
They're getting so much better, but the jackfruit, I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Find something else.
It's a fruit. And quickly, if you were having your ideal world in Walt Disney World, what would you do? I mean, you could stay where you want, ride what you want.
My perfect day is sleeping in until I wake up. No alarm. And then I will probably just wander into Epcot and go to Cellier. And then I will ride Spaceship Earth and Living with the Land. And then I'll take the monorail over and ride like People Mover and Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion. And then I'll come back and I'll go to the pool. Like at like 5 p.m. when everybody else is leaving, I'll go to the pool and then I will take a shower and a naked nap. I love a naked nap when I'm by myself in Disney World.
In your hotel room, by the way. She's not still on the lounge by the pool.
And only if I'm alone. If my family's there, I don't naked nap. Just a heads up. But if I'm alone, I will always take a naked nap because as a mom, when you're never alone, like it is just there's nothing better. And then I will go and have a fabulous dinner somewhere. Maybe I'll go to Wailulu Bar and Grill and have the Wayfinder burger and watch the fireworks or something like that. I think that'd be great.
I've not been there yet, but hopefully September when I'm back.
Let's go, Andy.
Yeah, if you're there at the same time, we'll do it. We'll go. Sadly, we can't go to Jelly Rolls anymore. Otherwise, that's where I would have suggested we would go. Still no news about what they're going to do next with Jelly Rolls. I don't think it's going to be at Disney, is it? Then I would have thought maybe Springs they would have moved to. But
not going to be at Disney. It's going to be in Central Florida, though. It will be in the Orlando area, so you will be able to go. They are going to reopen Jelly Rolls.
But that means leaving the bubble, AJ.
I know. It's against the law.
So what's next for you then? Obviously the book in a few days. And then where'd you go with that? The audio book? Is that happening?
Audiobook is happening. I was actually up in Ireland this summer and I recorded it in Cork.
Wow.
It's my voice on the audiobook. And then, we're just going to keep on keeping on. Hopefully this book sells well and I get another book deal and we get to write even more. But Disney Food Blog, allears.net, still going to be there for you every single day, giving you all the information you need. So follow along. Especially from the UK, because the first time we went with the free dining plan, because we get that we're going for 14 days and we get free dining. Suddenly we've got 14 restaurants to choose. You were the go-to. That was years ago now. And then yay. I'm so glad that's what I get up in the morning to do is make sure people aren't wasting their money at Disney World. And if you're a Disney adult, get that book pre-order. Give me the full title of the book and what's the release date? Yeah, it's Disney Adults Exploring and Falling in Love with a Magical Subculture. Release date is August 5th in the States. You can pre-order it now in the UK. And I think they gave me a release date in the UK of 11th of September. But I'll keep you updated, Andy.
Let me know and I'll post it on the socials.
Great.
It's been so good talking to you. Can't wait to read the book because I know I'm going to see a lot of myself in there.
It is a journey. It is a journey if you're a Disney adult, for sure. I hope you like it.
I'm sure I will. Fabulous talking to you, AJ, and have a magical day.
Thank you. You too.
Big thanks again to AJ. Make sure you pre-order the book. I will put the links on our socials. @PodMagical is where you need to go. And that's where you can go if you want to be a podcast guest yourself. If you've got some Disney stuff you want to get off your chest, let me know. A little bit of news for you since the last episode. It was announced last week that the magic of Disney animation is coming to Hollywood studios next year. What is this? Well, I'll tell you. This will keep many a Disney adult very happy. I remember the first time I went early noughties and they were creating magic in what was MGM Studios. There's the whole animation courtyard. And you used to be able to go in, as well as the animation classes, you used to be able to see animators creating. They were drawing and animating Lilo and Stitch. That movie was partly made at what is now Hollywood Studios, in that building where Star Wars Launch Bay is. Well, that is getting a whole new lease of life in 2026. So Star Wars Launch Bay will be closing. I've said for a while it should. I mean, we've got Galaxy's Edge. We don't need it anymore. It's going to transform into a place where kids and kids at heart can laugh, draw, dream and explore animated new experiences. I love the sound of this. We've got 100 years plus of Disney animation. That's what started the whole thing. Let's celebrate it. So inside, there's going to be new experiences inside the building, which is going to be topped by the iconic Mickey Sorcerer's hat. There'll be a film in there. There'll be drawing classes. There'll be animation that comes to life on the walls, character meets, an indoor play area, which is a blessing if you've got little kids who just want to burn energy in air conditioning. It's going to be Mary Blair themed as well. So this is a real nod to Disney history. It's going to keep a lot of people very happy. Those animation classes as well. So all that is being brought back to life. It does mean from September the 25th, a lot of that area is going to close. So that's your last chance to go to Star Wars Launch Bay. It does actually mean that for the next couple of years, Walt Disney World is going to be a construction zone. So if you think we've got this coming to Hollywood Studios, we've already got Muppet Courtyard down, and at some point Rock and Roller Coaster is going to be closing for the new Muppets overlay. So there'll be quite a bit of construction coming over to Hollywood Studios, along with the construction that we've already got at Magic Kingdom now that Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island has closed for the new Cars attraction. And of course, Animal Kingdom, there's a lot of work going over there where Dino Land was and still partly is. Dinosaurs going to be closing soon. The Tree of Life, the Bugs Life, that's closed for the new Zootopia film under there. So yes, next couple of years, just prepare yourself for a bit of construction over at Walt Disney World. However, Epcot is finished. Yeah, we've had Walcott for years, so Epcot has finally been finished now. I don't think there's any construction there, he says, now that Test Track has fully reopened. If you are going to be going over the next few weeks, by the way, yes, you can ride Test Track once again. No festivals at Epcot at the moment until the Food and Wine later on this year. It is Cool Kids Summer for the next few weeks. The new nighttime parade has started at Magic Kingdom, which will run twice nightly, up to the point where parties start, Halloween and Christmas parties. It's actually 2 weeks before the first Halloween party, the 15th of August. So when there's a Halloween party on, remember, you won't get the nighttime parade, you won't get Happily Ever After. Then those nights when they are on are going to be pretty busy. But a couple of weeks to go before Halloween, so do catch the new nighttime parade. A couple of chances to get that when it's on. American schools tend to go back at the end of August. So when Halloween starts, it may quieten down a bit. If you're taking the kids at the end of the UK holidays, you might find it's a bit quieter because American schools have gone back. It is still going to be really hot throughout August. So stay hydrated. Don't forget what AJ said. Don't be paying for water. Ask for free iced water. Get your factor 50 on. Rest up. Get some air conditioning. Prepare for the afternoon storms. And pound to dollar at the minute, just checking that. It's not too bad. Look at about 1.35 for the pound to dollar. And we finish the podcast with a tip. Always like to finish the podcast with a top tip. If you've got any, let me know. And in the 5 years of doing this podcast every other week, I'm still learning new things you can do at Walt Disney World. Did you know in the Magic Kingdom, you could become an honorary member of the Dapper Dans? You know the barbershop quartet who are harmonising and beautifully singing on Main Street? You can join them. If you sing along with them, you could become an honorary member. They'd even give you a card that says you're an honorary member. Now, you can't just rock up when they're in the middle of a performance and stand in front of them in your straw hat. That's not how to do it. But if they're on a bit of a break between performances and they're there, go for a chat, say hello, have a bit of a sing-song with them, and you might just get that card that makes you an honorary member of the Dapper Dans. Let me know if you've done it. Oh, I'd love to see a video, actually. If you are going to go, tag me in your videos. At Podmagical is where we are across the socials. Do give it all a like. I'll put the links on there to AJ's book if you want to pre-order that. And please do pre-order that. It'll be out in a couple of weeks' time. Also, as well, if you want to be a podcast guest, give me a shout. At Podmagical, if you could like and follow the podcast, subscribe, whether it's Apple or Spotify or you're watching on YouTube. Just makes it easier for you to catch up and keep up with the episodes, and also for other people to find us as well. You can give us a thumbs up. Even more brilliant. Back in 2 weeks with another guest and more Disney magic. Until then, please stand clear of the doors.